Iran's foreign minister pushing back against the White House after talking directly with U.S. officials about the regime's nuclear program, saying this, quote, "Our missile program is strictly for defense. It is not and will never be a subject for negotiation, but President Trump isn't having it." Listen to this.
Yeah, there's a deal that would be acceptable, but the one thing, and right up front, no nuclear weapons. If we could have made that deal 2 years ago, we would have made that deal, but they weren't willing to do that. Now they are willing to do it. If they would have offered this deal originally when we first started, it would have been accepted immediately. We'll see what happens.
Here to discuss is retired four-star General, Fox News senior strategic analyst and chairman of the Institute for the Study of War, General Jack Keane. General, good morning. Thank you for being here. Where do you see these talks stand? I find it interesting that, Iran said that they would only have indirect communications with the U.S. and they would only have direct talks if there were sanctions released. They don't like the maximum pressure, but yet here they were on Friday with direct talks, and they were saying the talks were going well. But then we get this message about the ballistic missiles off the table from the foreign minister. What do you make of it?
Well, I think their motivation for the talk certainly twofold. One, they want to put off the military strike, which is the option that's also on the table here, and in my mind, the preferred option. And number two, if they make any kind of a deal, the first thing they're going to want is sanction relief. And I think even if we made a deal favorable to us, I think that would not be in the best interest of the United States, the region, and certainly the Iranian people. Why is that? Because it extends the life of the regime. They're likely going to go on now for another 10 years. We have to deal with these people who are destabilizing the Middle East, using their proxies to attack Israel, and obviously horrifically repressing their own people. Is that really what we want? I don't think so. But listen, these guys are persistent in the big lie. And here it is again today, that they're really pursuing civil nuclear power. They have one nuclear plant in Iran. It represents less than 1% of the energy to provide and sustain their electric grid. And this is really what they're about, and that is why they have secret sites, and that is why they have the IAE in counting centrifuges and enriched uranium. It's all a bunch of nonsense. They've been lying for years about this, and they continue to do it. And the whole world sees it for what it is. The Iranian people know it. Everybody in the region knows it. All the American people look at this knowing it, that Iran is absolutely in pursuit of a nuclear weapon. The fact that the president is trying to use diplomatic pressure to achieve an end here, that is a pattern that he has established since he's been president. But I think we're coming down to the reality that the military option is indeed the best option here. Because why? It gives us this historic opportunity that no other president has had. Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump has brought us to this moment. This regime is the weakest it's been politically, economically, and militarily. Yes, they do have lots of missiles and lots of drones, but there's ways to deal with that. And that historic opportunity is simply this. If we can set the conditions for a regime collapse, think of that. No longer this kind of a regime running Iran, destabilizing the region. It offers the opportunity for something we've been searching for decades, enduring peace in the Middle East. That would be a geopolitical paradigm change, which I think would define President Trump's foreign policy and national security.
And General, I don't think you can overstate really what a historic opportunity it is, as you were outlining there, because we remember back in 2009, President Obama has openly acknowledged that he missed an opportunity at that time to do something similar to what President Trump could do now. Where do you see the sort of timeline moving on this? Our force posture couldn't be stronger right now in the area. What comes next?
Well, I think what is actually happening before our eyes is bringing in the necessary resources to do two things militarily. One is to make certain we can defend as best as possible against the drones and missiles that we know will be launched by Iran. And two, also make certain that we have the offensive capability to deal with the entire infrastructure of what is sustaining this regime. That is civilian and military leadership, the IRGC and the other repressors of the people that are there. The IRGC is a military organization as well as a paramilitary organization. We've got to strip its entire infrastructure down, Basel militia and others, and then also at the same time air defense systems, certainly, so they have freedom of action over Iran, but deal with their rockets and missiles, which are significant, as well as their drones. This would be combined Israel, United States. We have the capability to do that. And I think bringing in the additional resources, that is the pacing item in terms of when there would be a military operation.
We shall continue to follow this. General Jack Keane, great insight as always. Thank you for taking time this morning, sir.
Yeah. Have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.